Welcome, guys, once again to another review of Married to Medicine. Today, we're going to be talking about season 12, episode 5, baggage check. I, for me, when I saw that the title was baggage check, I was like, did the episode really give baggage check? It didn't to me. I felt like the title was off what the episode gave. I don't know. It's just my opinion. How did you feel about it? Because looking at them titling it baggage check and
I mean,
watching the episode,
if we're still talking
it's
about Heavenly's little bag, you know what I'm saying? Why does it
but that's
matter?
not a baggage.
You know what I'm saying? Uh,
But that's
it,
not a when you talk about baggage, it's different from a bag.
yeah, they're talking about a handbag, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But what does it matter? How much the bag costs? How much money do you have in that bag? That's what matters. You know what I'm saying? Because I'd rather have a cheap bag with
Yeah.
$100,000 in it than an expensive bag with $10. And that's just me. You know,
Uh,
you don't have
uh,
to spend a lot to be cute. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? You just don't. Doesn't make sense.
Mm, mm. Well, anyway, let's talk about the the episode started actually with Eugene and Toya's issue, where Eugene called Toya in for a chat to discuss about the fight we had in the last episode where we saw Toya go off on Dr. Eugene. Now that's apology scene. I felt a certain kind of way watching it. After watching that apology scene, I would say Eugene is a good man.
Mhm.
I don't know for every other part because they show us only what they want us to see. But for the fact that he called his wife, apologized, laid out his own perspective, laid out how he saw it, explained why he reacted the way he reacted, explained why he said and did the things he said, right?
Right.
For me, that is a good man that loves his wife, respected his wife. Like he explained his perspective, he explained his reasoning, he explained his reaction without trying to make it look as if he didn't try to make her look guilty for whatever
Right.
whatever happened between them happening, right?
Right.
He tried to be like, okay, I know that I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have reacted this way. I shouldn't have said this thing at that moment because you were kind of pressured, you were kind of hot, emotions were high. He kind of be like, okay, this is what it is. I want to apologize, right?
Right.
Now, asking her, do you have anything you feel like you did wrong you want to apologize for? And she kind of bit her tongue for a while before she said,
Mhm.
oh, okay, I shouldn't have said this. I shouldn't have said that.
Mhm.
Um, I felt like if Eugene did not really ask her, okay, do you feel like you have something to apologize for? I felt like she wouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, if
I
he
felt
wouldn't have
like
went first.
sh Yeah, I felt like she would have felt like she was in a right because at the beginning of the conversation, she was already saying like, "Oh, is it a bad thing that I'm telling you to be a man in front of your friends, be the leader in front of your friends? I want my man to be a leader and that kind of thing." She was already finding like saying that she was right in her reasoning.
Mhm.
Um, so I think that if Eugene had not been like, okay, yes, I've said my own point of view, I've apologized where I fucked up. Do you have where to apologize to? I don't think and I don't even think that those things she said, she meant it. I feel like Toya felt like everything she said, every word she said, every reaction she had, the tone she used was right. That is what I took away from that conversation with Eugene because there's nobody that will sit down or actually watch that episode and watch that conversation that will tell me that after watching that conversation between Toya and Eugene, went away with, okay, Eugene, Toya was really respectful and apologetic for what happened. That's that's for me. I did not feel I didn't feel from Toya the spirit of apologies, or I didn't feel the spirit of, okay, yes, I fucked up. I know I fucked up. I need to apologize for this. Rather, I felt that from Eugene. So it's somehow to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. How did you feel when you saw that scene when Eugene and Toya had the discussion about the fight?
First off, I just want to say I love the way Eugene went about orchestrating this apology. He
Yeah.
laid it all on the table. He began first, and then he kind of like said, okay, your turn. You know,
Mm-hmm.
of course, it was reluctancy from her, you know.
Yeah.
Um, she didn't really get down to the root of what she's going through. I feel you know what I'm saying. It was
Mm-hmm.
just you know off the top layers. You know what I'm saying. She didn't really, excuse me. She didn't really dig deep to me. You know what I'm saying. Um, it- Toya doesn't seem like the type of person who gives her husband a genuine apology. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think she's been put in that position yet. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully she never will have to,
Mm.
come a day where Eugene is just fed up. You know what I'm saying? All bullshit aside. you know. So um I think that's about as good as we gonna get right now as an apology or her saying that she was in the wrong, because I noticed that she blamed it. I shouldn't let the other ladies get in my head. Well, you know what? A real wife ain't gonna let no other female get in their head when it come to their husband. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know. You know, but I feel like that's the best apology that we're gonna get right now from Toya. But I was just really happy how he laid it all down because he knows that she's hot tempered. We knew that from the very first episode watching her, with Mariah, you know. So yeah, we know she's a hothead, even though she says she's close to 50, you know, but she's still steaming under the collars, but I think she
Mm.
needs to soften it up, soften her face up because it makes you look old when you're always angry.
There's no way Toya is gonna look old because she's enjoying her man's money, living the housewife lifestyle. So there's absolutely no way at all. But I feel like for somebody that, and a lot of women, me included, I'm looking for a man that would like literally just want to take care of me and
hmm
still be respectful about it. It's rare to
Yeah,
see a man that is taking care of what needs to be taken care of and still add respect on top of it.
right.
It's a rare thing. So she having the bold, the care, the help, and still respect. I think maybe she takes it for granted. And they always say you don't know what you have until you lose it. And I pray that it doesn't get to that extent where she has to probably lose it to understand what's going on.
Yeah, let's hope
That's
not.
I just pray. I don't want that because I love the both of them together. In short, I love everybody on this cast with whoever they are in. I don't pray for any of them to have a divorce, have a problem, have a separation. I don't pray for it.
Right.
So I just hope that everything goes in accordance. because there's so much someone can take.
Yeah, I get it, but they got to also understand that they're representing black excellence. And I know that comes with problems. I already know
Mm,
that part, but I'm just saying, you know, if you have a husband, there's no need to be masculine. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I mean, be intelligent enough to use your words without yelling, without screaming, without cursing. Use your words. The human vocabulary is so vast. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different words you could pick from to express
Mm,
yourself. Learn how to use other words instead of combative, argutive, swearing words. You know what I'm saying? Because you're representing. Yeah, I feel like you're getting paid to represent. Now represent us
yeah.
right, please. You know?
Well, moving forward, we got to Cecil and Simone's issue, where Cecil was meeting with his brother, who just recently had a divorce and it's going through the emotions a little bit, and Simone meeting with her sister, and they were talking about the issue they had, the whole fight issue they had with the son, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, for me, I felt a certain way about Cecil when he was talking. I felt like going on my screen and giving him a slap. Yeah, that was how I felt. I was irritated by what he was saying. I understood, don't get me wrong, I understood where he was coming from, because I understood that even my mom, before she became late, she always had this thing. Okay, my parent didn't give me these certain things when I was growing up,
Right.
but um, I want to give my own kids better than my parents was, and unfortunately, I am able to do that. Yes,
Mhm.
that part is there. My mom gave me what did for me and gave me what her own mom couldn't do for her, but
Right.
did not still mean that I could, or I would say, okay, because my mom wants to do for me what her mom couldn't do for her, to get to take her ATM, take her card, go to the bank or whatever, withdraw cash that large to splurge not on something beneficial to both me or her, to splurge on a car or something, man. And the way Cecil was trying to make an excusing the son's misbehavior. Now I understand why Simone says they don't see her. And truthfully, I don't see them seeing her. Because the way Cecil stood there in front of his brother was looking at him like, are you okay? I love the brother. The brother called him correct. The brother was like, are you okay? Like, are you not trying to see this from Simone's point of view? See, there's one thing I know. There is something as living and trying to give your kids a better life. And there's something as outrightly spoiling them. I don't know whether he hasn't seen where children get so spoiled that they don't know how to do anything for themselves. Nobody knows what tomorrow will be. How long can you shelter them? Just because Cecil's mom, he lived with his mom, and I think that's a problem too. And I don't even like getting married, or I would not love to get married to somebody like that. Someone that stays with his mother all through his life. The only time he left his mom was when he was getting married. I
Oh
would not want to
no.
do that because their
Mm-mm.
mentality is different.
Yes.
If you have lived life where you have to fend for yourself,
Right.
you have to pay your bills,
Mhm.
electricity, water bills, everything you have to pay, your bills, you have to do things yourself. I don't, if Cecil has done that on his own, I don't think he will be saying what he's saying. And so I'm sorry. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I don't mean to be in any shape or form trying to disrespect Cecil. But I would say if Cecil was making more than Simone and watching the money disappear from the account like it's disappearing, I don't think he would be talking like this.
Hmm.
Because there's something that you go see, because I know if I go out and make money, I make money and I come home and somebody else spends that money recklessly, not doing something that I know, okay, like, oh, okay, this thing is beneficial for us. It needed to be done. There's a difference of where your money goes is something that needs to be done,
Right.
something that is a necessity. Even if you're pissed off that the money is gone from your account, you are looking, okay, fine, at least I did this. There's a difference in that. And there's a difference in just spending money recklessly.
Right.
And if I see where money is being spent recklessly, I cannot look at maybe, okay, let me just use my sister or something, or my brother. They are spending money anyhow. I would not feel any pain because why? I didn't work for that money.
Right.
It wasn't my money. I didn't work for it. The only time I'm going to feel pain when money is being spent anyhow is when it's the money I worked hard for and I know how much energy and stress I put into to make the money.
Mm-hmm.
That is when I would, if my money start disappearing anyhow or being spent recklessly, I will feel the pain. Somebody else's money missing or being spent recklessly, I would not even say nothing. I might even follow in spending the money because it's not mine, it's human being. So I feel like if Cecil was making as much as Dr. Simone was making, I don't think he will be saying what he's saying because I was disappointed in his statements in this episode. I might not like Dr. Simone, but I stand with her in this particular topic. He has sheltered his son so much, and that is why Michael will think that he's good enough at that age. We're not talking about a small kid. At that age, I felt so disappointed, and I was so glad that his brother could be like, dude, even if and it's something, even if as a father you felt that certain way about situation like that, in front of your kids, you're supposed to have a united front with your wife. Then probably when you guys are separate in your bedroom, you can now be like, oh, wifey, this is how I saw it. This is how I saw it. But you in front of the children undermining your own wife, yeah. Even my mom and dad, I know that they didn't have great relationship, but you will hardly see where they will be undermining themselves in front of the kids. So I loved what Cecil brother told him, but do I think that he got to Cecil? Did I think that he understood what his brother was saying? No, no. Because why I say that is because um Dr. Simone was on Watch What Happens Live, you know the show, Andy's show, right?
Right.
I don't know whether you watched the episode. I think after the last episode before the holidays, she was on Watch What Happens Live, and Michael was there. And they still asked the question, and they still asked the question, how are you doing your finance with your for your schooling? And she still said, oh, they are still talking about it. She's still assisting him. That means it didn't make no difference.
Huh.
It didn't make no difference. What his brother said to him didn't still make any difference. So for me, I was disappointed in Sisu. I was really disappointed in Sisu in what he said. It was very disappointing. And for somebody that I have called my husband for so many years to not respect me in that way, I don't know. I feel bad for Simone. I feel bad for Simone. Oh, I really feel bad for her. How did you feel for the same?
Well, I mean, like I as a parent, I understand the struggle of your parents not being able to do for you as you're growing up through, your teenage to young adult to where you want to go to college, and there's no money. I completely understand that. I understand student loans and financial aid. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You know, I understand that you want to give your children more than what you had. You want to give them a head start, a jump start on life. You know what I'm saying? Get them ahead
Yeah,
of the game. But then along with that, you got to teach them some type of responsibility, you know, some type of financial responsibility. Now, they were already paying the mortgage there for the boys, so they should have been making them get part-time jobs and say, okay, you guys buy your own food and you pay a utility bill, you pay a utility bill, and we'll pay a utility bill and pay your own cell phones. You know what I'm saying? Pay your own car insurance, pay your own
mm,
car notes. You know what I'm saying? Give them some type of responsibility. If I'm handling all your student loans and stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's the least you can do, you know, and keep the place clean, you know. But I don't think those responsibilities were handed out with these entitled young men, because they act like they're, this is what is supposed to be given to them. These children, I noticed, this generation, they feel like things are supposed to be given to them. They're not supposed to earn it, especially if they see that their parent can give it to them. Then they're like, well, why aren't you giving it to me? You know what I'm saying? They don't understand hard work and sacrifice, because once you do the hard work, you got to sacrifice for the things that you need and the things you want. You know what I'm saying? So if
yeah.
you never had to do that in your life, you become entitled, you know? So, but you got to ask yourself, when does this entitlement stop? This is what Simone is thinking. When is this going to stop? I'm getting older. I'm ready to like get towards semi-retirement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be struggling to still pay my mortgage and trying to pay this mortgage, and and then we want to go on vacation, and what if the car breaks down? What if I need a new car? Like, those are worries. Those are real things to be concerned about. Do you even have enough money to retire? You know, are you going to be okay? You know? So I understand where Simone is coming from, because hey, I was a guilty parent. I was a Cecil. I'm not gonna lie. I was a Cecil, you know, until like I told the story before. Gave my daughter a
Yeah.
car, less than 40,000 miles on it. You know, after about 7 months of her having it, maybe 6, 7 months, she called me, "Hey, mom, the car's in impound. They picked it up," and I'm like, "Well, what happened?" She didn't tell me about all these outstanding tickets. You know what I'm saying? I think I paid like, oh my God, close to $3,000 in unpaid parking tickets and stuff like that. On top of getting that car out of impound 3 weeks in a row. She did it the first week, she did it the second week, she did it the third week, she did it the fourth week. And I said, you know what? It was $500 a pop to get it out of the impound. I said, you know what? Get your stuff out of the car and say goodbye to that car because you'll never see it again in life. I'm the one who took that loss. You see what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it taught me something valuable. Never give a college kid a practically new car. You get them a bucket and let them drive that. Okay. Second off, it taught me to teach her that just because it's given to you, it could be taken away.
Yeah.
So then she ended up on the bus. I tried. I did what I could do, but you weren't going to keep weeding money out of me for stupid stuff, because, hey, I wanted to retire too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who wants to keep working? But yeah, I was a Cecil, and now I'm a Simone. I'm like, look, no, how much is that? No, let's just wait on that because we already still have this. See what I'm saying? Because now I feel like my money is best served in my pocket than anybody
Mm-hmm.
else, than anybody else's, you know. So yeah, Cecil's gonna have to like, I don't know if he's retired already, so his retirement isn't gonna be as big as her paycheck, but what about when they both have to retire? Well, when
Exactly.
and then that money isn't going to be as large as it was when,
As it was supposed to be.
yeah, well, when somebody's actually working. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, life doesn't get any easier because you're retired. It gets harder.
Mm-hmm.
It gets harder. you know and I love what his brother said. Hey, once they're grown and gone, it's just the two of you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta be that person who goes, no, this is going too far.
Yeah.
That's your wife, not your kid's wife. They gonna treat
Mm-hmm.
their wives probably much kinder, but that's your wife stressing and upset and crying and screaming her head off. Like, dude, like, do something, you know, because
Yeah.
they're not the Rockefellers. They don't have old money. They still making their money,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah. I just want to see where this will lead to because I know it's not gonna. Well, they are still together as of today, but it only takes like I say, it takes a push to become a shove. Like, it takes a shove to become a push.
Yeah,
Um. So hopefully we don't get to that.
let's hope not.
Hopefully we don't get to that. Now let's move over to Quad and Haman. They were planning to go to Ghana for the IVF, the next round of their IVF. And a lot of things that are coming out. I know a lot of people were kind of being like what the man was saying was kind of somehow like he doesn't want to have a child with Quad. But I'm like, everybody knows that IVF is expensive.
Right.
And I don't think, and the way they spoke, this is not their first round
Mm-hmm.
of IVF.
Mm-hmm.
And they are doing this in Ghana. So they're literally traveling from the US to Ghana.
Wow.
It's not cheap.
Of course not.
It's like to and fro from US to Ghana, Ghana back to the US. And when they're in
Mm-hmm.
Ghana, they'll pay for whether hotel or Airbnb or anything.
Right.
There'll be accommodation, transportation,
Right.
a lot of things in
Yeah.
play,
Yeah.
right? And this guy
Mm-hmm.
still has a child.
Mm-hmm.
That child will not be forgotten just because he's chasing to have a child with Quad.
Right.
And for me, I like the fact that even after chasing, or he's chasing to have a child required, he still remembers that there is still a child there that still needs financial aid from him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not going to spend and squander all his finance just because he wants to have a baby required.
Right.
So people were kind of saying that he was talking as if he was reluctant to have a child required. I'm like, no, this kind of I've seen where IVF cause issues between couples,
Mm-hmm.
because even here in Nigeria it's expensive. In Nigeria here, IVF is preview to the rich,
Mm.
right? IVF is very expensive,
Right.
and you don't know what is going to be the success. Like the success rate is there's no specific success rate of, okay, this round is going to be 100%.
True.
This round is going to be 50. You don't know. It happens when it wants to happen. Some people, the first time it happens. Some people two, some people three. And you keep on paying money for these things.
Right.
I had an auntie that did IVF, and after the second round, it worked out. She had the baby. Unfortunately, the baby died.
Oh, I'm so sorry. My goodness. Mm.
And she didn't have money again to go for another IVF.
Wow. Bless her
So
heart.
when I watched the episode and I saw them talking about it, I felt like, yeah, they're talking like a real couple. He's telling her his own point of view, his grievances, and he's not fighting her.
Right.
He wasn't shouting. He wasn't argumentative. He was just trying to tell her that, see, if it doesn't work out this time, he's trying to be rational.
Right.
If it doesn't work out this time, what are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like at this moment it feels like the money they saved up for the IVF, I think maybe it has passed
Mm.
more than
Okay.
what they planned. Because I don't think they'll be having this topic if the budget was still if they were still on budget.
Mm-hmm.
This topic is coming up because they've gone over the budget.
Mm.
So people coming, because I saw a lot of people online being like, "Hi, he doesn't want to have a child with her. That is why he's behaving like that. He doesn't want to have a kid with her. That is why he's being nonchalant." No, in my own perspective, I don't know if you saw it different, but for me, watching, what I saw was a man trying to be like, "I know you want this, but it is getting to a stage where it is draining both you and I have a child already, which I cannot compromise her financial stability because I'm chasing after a child with you."
Right.
And I felt like it's we the same viewers. If this man goes all out and tries to give Quad all his money, everything, spend, squander everything on Quad, and tomorrow we hear from maybe the baby mama of his child being like, "Oh, he doesn't pay child support, oh, he doesn't spend on his children," or we will be the same people being like, "Oh, so he can spend on Quad, but he forgets his children from his other baby mama."
Right.
We will be the same viewers that would complain.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he was being rational. Yes, maybe his facial expression was not giving, "I really want this." But I feel like I have been in situations where I want something,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
But the situation I am is not giving me the leeway to want it. It's not giving me the leeway to like say, okay, this thing has to come to me. Then when I just look at it, I'll be like, ah. When I'm like, okay, we need to do this, I'll be like, oh. You might think I'm not interested in it anymore, but I'm looking at my situation. My situation at this moment is not giving me the leeway to be like, okay, really, I want to be happy to do this because I have a situation where I'm being drawn backwards. I remember that I wanted to have a trip. I wanted to go on a trip recently, but financially I couldn't.
Mm.
And when everybody was talking, and everybody knew that when we were planning this trip, everybody knew that I was like, everybody knew I wanted to go, I wanted to be there.
Right.
Well, because at that moment, financially, I wasn't it. And when everybody was talking about it, I just put up a face like, and
Mm.
people were like, what's going on? It's not that I didn't want to, or I know that I wasn't going to have fun, but it's just that at that moment, I couldn't.
Right.
So I did understand where he was coming from, but for the fans coming for him, I didn't understand that. For the fans coming for Quad, trying to be like the man is not serious, he doesn't want a child with you, I felt like that was from nowhere. I don't know. Did you see any difference when they had that conversation about the IVF, Johnny?
No, I mean, I can understand. I mean, you're flying. How long does it take to fly to Africa? How many hours?
So sometimes it takes 18 hours from Nigeria. It depends on the flight. If you have a stopover or anything, it takes close 18 hours.
Okay, that's a long time. And then you times that times two, you know, that's a long time. Long flight. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of money that they're
Yeah, it's quite
spending,
expensive.
you know, and then a lot of raw emotion. You know, I I can imagine, the ups and downs of this. The roller coaster is like an emotional roller coaster. I can imagine, you know, and maybe at this point, if it's not being productive, then maybe there needs to be like a pause, not forever, but just a
Mm-hmm.
pause on it, just to catch your breath, where it's not consuming all your finances and your whole entire life. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because as you said, he did mention his daughter, you know, and he has to be present. Just sending money is not enough. You have to show up, you know. Every little girl needs their
and
dad
that.
because there's
Uh-huh.
always some slick talking dude that sees that you don't really have that protection. So, yeah, that's where you end up with, you know, a bunch of stuff that you don't want to come with teenagers. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I understand where he's coming from. You know, it can be an emotional roller coaster.
Uh-huh.
And right now, maybe other things are kind of superseding all that emotion because your attention needs to be other places as well.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I feel that if they took time off, and unstress themselves, then maybe the next time they go back at work, because
I
they're just under
guess.
such a deadline and a stress. Like that's just like trying to make love on command. Like who could do that? You know what I'm saying? Nobody. At least I don't know anybody that can. You know. So yeah.
I guess we'll get to see that more on the episodes
Right.
because I know this is their storyline for this season, so we'll get to see how that will play out. I really do hope, although for now, she's actually in Nigeria now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't see her with any big stomach, so she's not. There's no way she'll be in Nigeria if she's pregnant. Um, so yeah, she's in Nigeria with Yanda and Angel
Mm.
having fun. Whenever they come to Nigeria, it's to have fun.
Oh, okay.
Um, So yeah, in Nigeria here having fun. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that she'll be going back very soon because the holidays is over, right? Um, but I didn't see her with any big tummy. So aside she's hiding it, but um, I didn't see her with any big tummy.
Right. How long is she going to be in Nigeria?
She's been in Nigeria since before the New Year. I think she spent the New Year's in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that would be great if somehow you could get like a, a, a cameo interview with her and Angel.
Oh no, where the place they are
Uh-huh.
is beyond my
Oh,
capabilities.
okay. Okay. All right. All right.
They are in the big leagues.
Okay.
They know they be in the big leagues. Big leagues.
Uh-huh.
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't even be, they would beat me up from the gate. Like I wouldn't even be allowed there. They are in the elite. In Nigeria here, they might not be very elite in the US, but when they come to especially Yanda, uh, Toya. This is the first time I'm seeing. Maybe Angel used to come with them, but I never really knew her because I didn't know her face before. But now that she's on Married to Medicine, I see
Right.
her now. I know her. So that's just it. So
Okay.
so I said Toya. This Quad is always in Nigeria. I think Nigeria is Quad second home.
Okay.
Quad and Yanda, Nigeria and Ghana.
Wow.
They are either in Ghana or they are in uh, Nigeria. Any
Wow.
of those two. Yeah. Yeah, always
How
there.
wonderful.
Lastly, let's talk about the party where all the ladies came in, the bag party where they were to sew leather, whatever.
Hmm.
I already knew that was gonna come with a lot of shenanigans. We had Toya coming in already with Heavenly's bag, being like, I brought this bag for some people to see the fakeness. You know what? I would say something. If you can't dish it, if you can't dish it, be prepared to get it.
True.
I cannot go outside insulting people without expecting one person to insult me back.
Hmm.
Of course, if I go out there being all insultive to people, I should expect one person should give it back to me.
Hmm.
Toya went in there with the bag trying to shade on Heavenly. And Heavenly is not somebody to back down.
No.
Heavenly is one person that I know in that group that when you decide to give Heavenly, she gives it back to you hot, hot, hot.
Uh,
And um the shade was not necessary. She was coming in being like all shady and everything. And the fact is, I know what Heavenly said about her husband's, PP being
mhm.
small was wrong. But I
Right.
always say something. You insult me or I insult you. You win. Okay, let's say I insult you. I do not know the response you're going to give to me. I cannot anticipate the response you're going to give to me.
Hmm.
You could either walk out on me or keep quiet or be silent, or you could um insult me back,
Right.
or you could break a bottle on my head. It can
Okay.
happen. You cannot predict the reactions somebody has to what you say
True.
or what you do. The only thing that you can predict in this life is what you can do. Even for somebody you love or somebody that is your family member, I know that yes, I can. Something I could say, okay, if you tell me my dad is gonna do something, I can say, okay, he might not do this, but at the end of the day, he might do it because it is him and I'm
Hmm.
me.
Right.
I can't really for 100% be sure, okay, this is how you're gonna be reacting to something that is happening.
Hmm.
I could feel that you might react like that, but at the end of the day, I don't know the mood you woke up in that morning. Could have woke up from the wrong side of the bed, and that day you're moody and react different from what I thought. So you cannot predict what someone react to. Yes, Toya said what she said. Now, were you expecting Heavenly to smile back at you when you said the shade you shared on the group chat? Now, Heavenly replied, but what is now pissing you is that Heavenly went to hell with her reply.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing remains, and I will say it, if Toya had not talked about that bag in the way Toya talked about that bag, Heavenly wouldn't have said what she said.
Right.
That's just a matter of fact. Now, you came to this thing, still brought the bag, trying to shade. And Heavenly went back to be like, what's your portfolio? What do you have? And you're getting pissed off. You know that Heavenly, you just can't shade Heavenly like that. Heavenly will come back for you. Now, switching back to the men, where the men were also discussing about the issue with the wife and Toya and everything. Eugene trying to make excuses for Toya. Excuse me, dead me with that. Him trying to be like, some of the ladies are, you know, coming in hot for Toya. I loved what's his name?
Curtis.
Cody's response to him. That as much as you feel like Toya is getting the heat, she has given the heat.
Mm-hmm.
So don't come around being like, oh, my wife is getting so much. No. As much as you say Toya is getting heat, she has given it hot to people too.
True.
Isn't it 2 weeks back, 2 week episode back? She talked about Curtis touching. They talked about her talking about Curtis touching on any woman. Is that not somebody else's husband?
Right.
Didn't she talk about somebody else's husband and trying to talk about him sexualizing other women? So for me, I didn't like that Eugene was. I understand he trying to support his wife, but Toya is not innocent. Toya is not an innocent party here.
Right.
Toya is not innocent. Heaven is not innocent. The both of them were wrong. But the question is, the person that started it was Toya. At the end of the day, if Toya had not said what she said about that bag on the group chat, we would not be having this conversation. Heavenly wouldn't have talked about the manhood of Dr. Eugene. We wouldn't have had anything go on. So if there is one person at the end of the day, I'm going to blame for everything, it will still boil down to Toya. She started it.
I
And
agree.
the person she decided to go for decided to go to hell with it. So as much as I did not like Heavenly's response, I'm gonna side with Heavenly. I didn't like Heavenly's response because one thing I don't like about women is coming for their husband's manhood. I do not like that. But I stand with Heavenly because Toya started it. She wanted
Mm-hmm.
it. Now she's pissed off with what Heavenly said.
Right.
Why are you pissed off? That's just my point of view. How did you see the party and the men talking about how the women, are fighting?
Right. I mean, the guys, they know their wives. They know. Dr. Damon knows how Heavenly is. She's always gonna
Mm-hmm.
get her lick back. And Toya don't take no stuff. You know what I'm saying? And Dr. Eugene knows that. You know, and yeah, she's basically said something sharp about all the guys. You know, but hell, she said something sharp about all the women too. You know, so it it was redundant to have that conversation about, well, your wives, Toya feel like they're ganging up on her. Well, Hell yeah, Toya. They're gonna gang up on you, especially when you're firing shots. You know, that's how the game is played. Because you guys don't play nice. You know, so hey, you you get what you give.
Sure. Um, I don't know. I didn't get to watch the trailer. Did you watch the trailer for the next week episode?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember it. I'm trying to remember it.
I I really didn't get to watch it. I just watched the episode when the episode was done. I didn't even wait for next week on.
hmm,
So I
I
really don't
can't
know what
remember it. See, my mind is just drawing a big blank right now. Sorry about
I don't
that.
know what the next week episode is going to be about. But I'm going to wait and see
Hmm.
how next week is gonna be, how the fight is in, would they go far on the fight, or would they decide to be like, okay, you know what, let's get it over with. And maybe they will just get matured, both Toya and Heavenly. And likely I know by next week we'll be finding out what's the result of Toy Quad's IVF journey. Likely
Hmm.
my next week's episode. I hope it's not bad news, because I kind of saw somewhere that she was crying, something like a clip where she was crying, but hopefully it's not something bad. Hopefully.
Hopefully those were happy tears. Because sometimes those happy tears can look like ugly tears.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So hopefully it's not.
Right.
But anyways, thank you guys once again for joining us on another review of Bright Amazing. Don't forget to like, comment, and click on the subscription button down below to subscribe. We'll see you guys same time next week for another review of Married to Medicine. Have a nice day, guys. Bye.
Bye.